Let me ask you something. What do you do when the person you love the most suddenly decides you're not enough? Do you chase after them, beg for another chance, and try to make them see the mistake they're making? Most men do. They plead, they explain, and they try to prove their worth. But here's the cold, hard truth. The more you chase, the faster she runs. Desperation is the quickest way to kill attraction. The moment she senses that you need her more than she needs you, she loses all respect. Women don't long for men who beg. They long for men who are just out of reach, men they can't control, men they can't fully have. So what's the only move that truly works? You disappear. No explanations, no closure, no grand goodbye, just silence. Because silence is the one thing that speaks louder than words. It does what endless messages, apologies, and gestures never could. It forces her to feel the emptiness of your absence. It makes her sit with the reality that you're no longer waiting, no longer an option she can pick up whenever she pleases. But let's be clear, this isn't just about making her miss you. That's small thinking. This is about something far greater. This is about reclaiming your power. You see, when you stop seeking validation from someone who discarded you, you become untouchable. The moment you detach from the need for her approval, you step into something most men never experience, real self-respect. And that's when everything shifts. That's when she starts questioning everything, because suddenly, the man who once held her on a pedestal has vanished. In his place stands a man who doesn't need her, a man who refuses to be anyone's second choice. That's the man she truly wants, the one she can't control, the one who makes her wonder if she just lost something irreplaceable. And that's the moment the tables turn. When you rise from this, when you rebuild yourself into someone stronger, sharper, and more focused, something magical happens. Suddenly, you don't just attract her back. You attract something far greater. New opportunities, new connections, new energy that pulls everything you once wished for directly into your hands. That's why this isn't just about her. It's about you, about becoming the kind of man who doesn't chase, but is chased. The kind of man who doesn't beg, but commands respect. The kind of man who doesn't just exist, but naturally attracts. So if you're ready to step into your power, hit that like button, subscribe, and press the bell icon so you never miss a lesson on power, resilience, and attraction. And drop this in the comments: I do not chase, I attract. Let this be your affirmation, your reminder, your new way of life. Because the moment you start believing it, the world will have no choice but to believe it too. Begging kills attraction faster than fire burns paper. The moment you beg, you lose. It doesn't matter how much history you have, how deeply you love them, or how much they once cared. The second you start pleading, something shifts. You're no longer the person they admired. You become weak in their eyes. And weakness is the quickest way to kill attraction. People are drawn to strength, to confidence, to someone who stands firm in their value. But when you beg, when you plead for them to reconsider, you're sending one loud message: I can't live without you. My happiness depends on you. And that's the biggest turn-off imaginable. They don't want someone who needs them. They want someone they have to earn. The moment you act like they're above you, they start believing it too. And once that happens, you've lost all power. Think about it. If someone of high status, someone truly valuable, got rejected, would they fall apart? Would they throw away their dignity just for a second chance? No, they would walk away, head held high, knowing their worth isn't defined by a single person's decision. But when you chase, when you cry, when you try to convince them to come back, you send one clear message: I am beneath you. You are my only source of happiness. And the moment they see you that way, it's over. Attraction is built on respect. The second they stop respecting you, they stop feeling anything for you. That's why those who worship the ground they walk on never win. They make it too easy. They give away their value for free. But those who walk away, the ones who refuse to settle for anything less than respect, those are the ones who stay on their mind. Look at your own life. Who do you respect more? The person who constantly seeks your approval, bending over backward for you, or the one who knows their worth and doesn't need your validation to feel whole? The answer is obvious. Respect comes from strength, not submission. If they truly respected you, they wouldn't have left. If they truly cared, they wouldn't have made you question your worth. So why waste your time proving your value to someone who discarded you? Prove it to yourself instead. Stop chasing. Stop pleading. Let them see what life is like without you, because nothing makes someone rethink their decision faster than realizing the person they want walked away. Not desperate, but disciplined. The most powerful people in history never begged for attention. They commanded it. They moved with certainty, knowing that what they had to offer was rare. And you? You're no different. You don't chase, you attract. You don't plead, you move on. And in doing so, you become the one they regret losing. So if you're ready to reclaim your power, to rise above desperation, to become the kind of person they can't stop thinking about, hit that like button, subscribe, press the bell icon, and stay locked in. Because the moment you stop chasing, the moment you let go, everything starts falling into place. Disappear like a ghost and watch them feel it. When words fail, silence speaks. And when someone walks away from you, the most powerful response isn't anger, pleading, or chasing after them. It's complete and total absence. No warnings, no last words, no desperate attempts to hold on. Just silence so deep it makes them question everything. Most people do the opposite. They send long texts trying to explain, hoping for closure. They call late at night thinking maybe, just maybe, this time they'll answer. They coincidentally show up in places they might be, pretending they just happen to be there. And with every attempt, they shrink in value. Because nothing is less attractive than someone who can't walk away. The more available you are, the less valuable you become. That's human nature. We crave what we don't have. And when you disappear, when you give them nothing but silence, you force them to sit with the weight of their decision. That's when doubt starts creeping in. See, when someone pulls away, they expect you to chase. They expect to hear from you, to ask why, to check in, to show you still care. But when you do nothing, when you remove yourself so completely that they start wondering if you ever needed them at all, that's when their mind becomes their own worst enemy. Did they ever really care? Why haven't they reached out? Are they already moving on? And those thoughts don't hit all at once, but over time, they start eating away at them bit by bit. Because the one thing humans fear most is being forgotten. That's why silence is your greatest weapon. Not because it's a game, not because it's manipulation, but because it shows self-respect. A person who values themselves doesn't beg for attention. They don't chase after those who walk away. They let go effortlessly. A strong person understands that when someone chooses to leave, it's not their job to convince them to stay. It's their job to show them what losing them really means. And that moment of realization doesn't come from late-night messages or heartfelt confessions. It comes when they truly feel your absence. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, when they see that you've moved on, when they realize your world kept spinning without them. That's when regret sets in, and by then, you won't even care. Because while they were wondering about you, you were building yourself. You were evolving, growing, becoming something greater than you ever were before. And that's the real power. The best revenge isn't proving them wrong. It's proving to yourself that you never needed them in the first place. So if you understand the power of silence, if you're ready to become someone who never begs, never chases, never lowers their worth for anyone, hit that like button, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Because when you master the art of walking away, you don't just get their attention, you get everything you once thought you lost and more. Now, control your emotions. Control the game. Pain is inevitable, but suffering, that's a choice. Right now, your emotions might feel like a raging storm, chaotic, uncontrollable, pulling you in every direction. One moment you're angry, the next you're drowning in sadness, and just like that, you lose control. But here's the truth. A person who cannot control their emotions will always be controlled by others. If they see they have power over you, if they know that just by walking away they can break you, then they own you. They don't even have to do anything. Your own emotions become the chains that keep you stuck. And that's where most people fail. They act on impulse. They let heartbreak dictate their every move. They send desperate messages hoping for a response. They lash out, saying things they'll regret, or worse, they drown in self-pity, waiting for someone who has already moved on. But a strong person, a stoic, does the opposite. They don't react. They don't beg. They don't allow anyone, especially not someone who left, to control their state of mind. Picture a mountain. The winds rage, the rain pours, but the mountain does not move. That is the kind of emotional control you must develop. Because the moment you master your emotions, you become untouchable. They can leave. They can ignore you. They can test you, trying to get a reaction. But you remain calm, indifferent, unreadable, and that drives people insane. Because uncertainty is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. The moment they can't predict you, the moment they can't read you, you become a mystery. And what do people do with mysteries? They obsess over them. They expect you to break down. They expect you to chase. But when you don't, when you remain composed, detached, and focused, they start questioning everything. Did they ever really care? Are they already over me? Why aren't they fighting for me? That's the moment the power dynamic flips. That's when they start chasing. But let's be clear, this isn't a trick. This isn't about pretending to be strong while secretly hoping they come back. This is about becoming the kind of person who genuinely does not need them, a person who finds peace in solitude, a person who doesn't crumble when things don't go their way, a person who understands that their happiness is their responsibility, not anyone else's. And that is the ultimate form of power. So when emotions try to take over, when you feel the urge to react, stop, breathe. Ask yourself, will this action serve me? Will this make me stronger? Or am I letting someone else control my mind? If the answer is no, walk away. Let them feel your absence. Let them wonder. Let them regret. But most importantly, let yourself evolve. Because once you master your emotions, you don't just win them back, you win yourself back. So if you refuse to let emotions control you, if you're ready to take back your power, hit that like button, subscribe, press the bell icon, and stay locked in. Because the moment you take control of your emotions, you take control of everything. Become a mystery. Keep them guessing. Familiarity might be comfortable in the beginning, but it quickly breeds boredom. The second someone knows exactly how you'll act, exactly what you'll say, and exactly how much you still want them, you lose your edge. That sense of predictability can be suffocating, like reading the same chapter over and over again. Eventually, they stop valuing you. Why invest energy in a story where the ending is already spelled out? The real key to regaining your power isn't to prove your worth through constant reassurance. It's to become someone who's impossible to pin down, a puzzle with infinite pieces, a riddle they can't solve. Most people make the mistake of laying all their cards on the table. They send lengthy messages hoping for a reply. They check in at every opportunity, wearing their emotions like a badge of honor. But pure honesty, without a hint of discretion, is just another form of vulnerability. And vulnerability, when offered without boundaries, can look like desperation. Think of yourself as a secret garden behind high walls. If you allow free entry at all hours, the garden loses its enchantment. But if you guard it, if you let people peek behind the gate but never see the whole landscape, curiosity grows. They start wondering what beauty lies beyond the wall. In the same way, the more you reveal your intentions, your feelings and your plans, the less magical you become. That magic, your unpredictability, fuels attraction. It sparks the mind to ask questions. Why haven't they reached out? Are they truly unaffected, or are they just hiding their feelings? Have they moved on, or are they playing a deeper game? These questions circle in their thoughts. And as anyone who's ever lost sleep over what someone else might be thinking can tell you, the imagination can be crueler than reality. In ancient Stoic wisdom, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This can also translate into the game of attraction. If someone expects you to collapse, to beg, to prove your devotion, do the opposite. If they're certain you're still clinging to every memory, let them wonder whether you even remember their name. If they anticipate you'll break down at the slightest push, stand firm like a mountain, refuse to crumble. If they assume you'll be available around the clock, switch off your phone and disappear from their world. Nothing amplifies desire like uncertainty. If you've become too available, if they can read you like an open book, now is the time to close that book and write a sequel they never anticipated. It's not about deceiving them. It's about valuing yourself enough not to give everything away for free. A story that's fully told leaves no space for imagination, and imagination is the heartbeat of attraction. You might wonder, isn't this just manipulation? Think of it instead as self-preservation. You're not playing mind games, you're putting yourself first, setting boundaries, and refusing to be an afterthought in someone else's life. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Here, your reaction is strategic: silence, controlled distance, and emotional independence. You're not lashing out. You're withholding your energy until someone proves they deserve it. Doubts will pop up. What if this pushes them away completely? If distance pushes them away, they were never truly invested in you to begin with. A connection worth having survives a storm. Sometimes it's even strengthened by it. If you're always the one texting first, offering explanations, or clarifying misunderstandings, they never have to try. They never feel the urgency of losing you, and urgency is often the catalyst for real change. By staying mysterious, you create a mirror that forces them to reflect on their own feelings. They might start to realize they took you for granted. They might even question whether they made a monumental mistake, and that twinge of regret. That's what happens when they feel your absence more than your presence. So stop being a constant presence in someone's life, especially if that someone hasn't earned it. Let them wonder, let them second guess. Let their own mind become the puzzle they can't solve. While they're busy trying to figure you out, you'll be leveling up, learning new skills, sharpening your focus, and expanding your horizons. That's not playing hard to get, that's being worth the effort. If you understand the power of mystery, hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss more lessons on self-mastery and attraction. And when you're ready to affirm your new mindset, drop a comment below that says, "I am a mystery they cannot solve." Because the moment they realize you've become an enigma, the game changes and you hold all the cards. Grow in the shadows, emerge as a legend. Have you ever felt that burning urge to show the world you're doing fine? Perhaps you want them to know they made a mistake leaving you behind. You think, if they could just see who I'm becoming, they'd realize what they lost. It's a normal reaction. Our pride craves recognition, and our ego whispers that public proof of our success will somehow soothe the pain. But here's a hard truth. If you have to announce your growth, you haven't truly grown. True transformation happens in the quiet corners of your life, away from the spotlight and beyond anyone else's gaze. Think of a seed buried in the soil. It doesn't sprout into the sunlight yelling, "Look at me, I'm becoming a tall tree." It simply absorbs nutrients in the darkness, taking its time. By the time it breaks through the earth, it's already strong enough to stand on its own. That's how your journey should be. A silent, steady climb toward a version of yourself that doesn't need applause or validation. Most people fall into the trap of trying to prove something to those who left. They post endless photos, hoping to spark envy or regret. They write cryptic status updates designed to make someone wonder, "Is that about me?" They check profiles obsessively to see if their transformation has been noticed. But this performance is still a form of chasing. You're chasing attention, chasing external approval, and ultimately handing over your power. Questions might arise. Is it wrong to want them to see how well I'm doing? Or won't my silence just make them forget me? Ask yourself this instead. Why do you need them to know? If your motivation for improving yourself is solely tied to their reaction, then they still own a piece of your mind. That means you haven't truly let go. You're still hoping to stir something in them, which means your self-improvement isn't entirely for you. It's for them. Consider the Stoic notion that real control comes from mastering yourself, not the opinions of others. As Epictetus taught, we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. If you're leveling up because you can't bear the idea that someone thinks you're stagnant, then you're letting their judgment guide your actions. In that scenario, who's really in control? The most powerful transformations happen in silence. When a person quietly dedicates themselves to growth, mentally, physically, spiritually, they radiate a different energy. They don't need to shout it from the rooftops or flood social media with curated highlights. Their progress becomes evident in the confidence they carry, the decisions they make, and the opportunities that start to unfold in their favor. Imagine a king rebuilding his empire after it has been ravaged by war. He doesn't send out letters begging for validation or kneel before his critics, pleading for acceptance. He simply reconstructs his kingdom, stronger walls, richer resources, a mightier army. And once his lands are restored, the people who doubted him can only stand in awe. By the time they realize his power, it's already too late to join him. That's the energy you should bring to your own life. Work on yourself without making a show of it. Build new skills, habits, and perspectives for your own sake. Learn to enjoy solitude and let go of the impulse to prove yourself. When you finally emerge from this period of intense personal growth, the result will speak for itself. Your glow-up won't be an act. It'll be a byproduct of real, sustained effort. And yes, there's always a chance they'll come looking for you, wondering how you've been, realizing they might have underestimated you. But by then, you will be so far ahead, so rooted in your newfound strength, that you won't need their recognition. It might feel good to see the surprise in their eyes, but it won't define your next move. You define it. If doubt creeps in, what if nobody notices? What if I waste my time changing and they never regret leaving? Ask yourself who you're doing this for. The best revenge is success, but true success isn't loud. It doesn't need to explain itself. It just is. If someone happens to witness your transformation and regrets their decision, that's extra. But it should never be the main course. So stop talking about your goals and start accomplishing them in silence. Let your results become your only announcement. A month, a year, or 5 years from now, when they happen to glance your way, They won't see the person they walked away from. They'll see a presence they can't even approach without an invitation. In that moment, they'll realize they lost something priceless. And you'll be standing tall, unshaken by their delayed epiphany, because your growth was never about them in the first place. If you choose self-improvement over the need for validation, hit that like button and subscribe. Share your commitment in the comments below with the words, "My high growth." Rewrite your story, make them regret it. Regret is a slow poison. It doesn't strike all at once. It creeps in over time, growing stronger with every realization. And nothing fuels it more than watching someone they walked away from transform into something they never expected. But here's the truth: you don't reach this point by waiting for their regret. You get there by rewriting the story, by shifting the power dynamic, by becoming someone they never saw coming. Right now, they think they know you. They assume they have you figured out. They believe deep down you're still waiting, still hurting, still hoping they'll come back. And as long as they hold on to that belief, they have no reason to question their decision. But the moment they hear about you moving forward, the moment they realize you're actually thriving, not pretending, not performing, but truly elevating, that's when everything changes. Because here's the harsh reality: people don't regret losing who you were. They regret losing who you become after they're gone. The second they see that your world didn't crumble, that you didn't beg, that you didn't need them to evolve, that's when doubt sets in. And not because you tried to prove anything to them, but because your growth made them irrelevant. Think about it. What stings more? Seeing an ex desperately trying to get your attention, posting pictures, throwing hints, hoping you'll notice, or realizing they've moved so far ahead that you don't even cross their mind anymore? It's always the second one. Because nothing cuts deeper than indifference. The moment they see you've detached, the moment they realize they've lost their influence over you, they start craving it again. And that's when the regret sets in. They start replaying the memories. They start second-guessing their choices. They start wondering, did I make a mistake? Could I still have them if I wanted? And that uncertainty will eat at them more than anything you could ever say. But here's the catch. By the time they regret it, you won't care anymore. Because you'll be too busy living, too focused on your own path to entertain the past. And that's true power. Not getting them back, not proving a point, but evolving into someone who never needed them in the first place. If you're ready to move forward, not backward, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay locked in. Because once you rewrite your story, the past becomes nothing more than a chapter you outgrew. And that's when they finally realize they lost you, not the other way around. When they come back, stay unmoved. They will come back. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point, curiosity will get the best of them. A random, "Hey, how have you been?" A like on an old post, hoping you'll notice. A message that subtly brings up a shared memory. And in that moment, you have a choice. Fall back into the trap or remain untouchable. Most people make the mistake of celebrating too soon. They assume this means they regret leaving. They want me back. And just like that, they undo all the power they've built. They respond too quickly, sound too eager, too available, and the second the other person senses that, they know they still have control. But a strong person, a stoic, moves differently. They don't react emotionally. They don't seek closure. They don't hand over their power just because someone decided to return. Because they understand a crucial truth, just because they reach out doesn't mean they're ready to commit. Sometimes it's not regret, it's curiosity. Sometimes they just want to see if they still have access to you, to reassure themselves that if they wanted, they could still have you. And the moment you show them they can, the game is over. They'll lose interest just as quickly as they came back. So when that message arrives, stay composed. Respond if you want, but on your time. Let them feel the uncertainty they once made you feel. Keep it short, keep it neutral. And most importantly, keep your emotions out of it. If they try to stir up old feelings, don't engage. If they suggest meeting up, let them work for it. If they truly want back in, they need to prove they're worth your time, not the other way around. Because here's the truth. People only value what they have to earn. If you roll out the red carpet the moment they return, they'll take you for granted again. But if they sense that you're no longer the same person they left behind, that you have options, that their presence is no longer a priority, that's when they start to chase. But by then, you might not even care. And that's the real victory, not winning them back, but realizing you never needed them in the first place. True indifference isn't an act, it's a mindset. And when you embody that, you don't just get respect, you become the kind of person no one ever wants to lose again. If you refuse to be a backup option, hit that like button, subscribe, press the bell icon, and stay locked in. Because the moment you master indifference, you stop playing their game and start making your own rules. Become the one they can't ignore. By now, you've done what most people fail to do. You didn't beg, you didn't chase, you didn't lose yourself trying to prove your worth. Instead, you transformed. You took the pain and used it as fuel. You became the kind of person who doesn't just survive heartbreak, you thrive because of it. And now, something has shifted. You no longer care if they come back. You don't replay the past, searching for answers to questions that no longer matter. Because the truth is, you've outgrown them. The person you are today isn't the same one they left behind. And that's what makes you impossible to ignore. Most people stay stuck in the past. They hold on to what was, hoping to rekindle something that's already dead. They resist change, clinging to memories that no longer serve them. But high-value people, they move forward, they evolve. They reach a point where their time, energy, and focus are too valuable to waste on someone who once doubted them. And that shift in mindset, that's what makes them notice. Because here's the hard truth, people are drawn to those they feel lucky to have. The moment they sense that you no longer need them, that your life is filled with purpose, ambition, and new experiences, they start questioning everything. They wonder why they let you go. They wonder if they could still have you. And that uncertainty, that's what makes them rethink their decision. But here's the key, you don't let their regret define you. You don't suddenly break your silence just because they started watching your stories. You don't rush to reply just because they show interest again. Because you're not that same person anymore. You're not living for their attention. You're not waiting for their approval. You're too busy becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts, not just one, but many. And that's what makes you powerful. Not playing games, not pretending to be indifferent, but truly reaching a place where you are so focused on your own growth, your own evolution, that the past no longer defines you. That's the kind of person they can't ignore. If you refuse to settle for the past, if you're ready to step into the next level of your life, hit that like button, subscribe, press the bell icon, and stay locked in. Because once you reach this mindset, it's no longer about whether they want you back. It's about whether you even care anymore. You were always enough. You never needed her. Here's a truth that takes time for many to grasp. You never needed her, not in the way you believed, not as your sole source of happiness. What you truly needed was to lose her so that you could finally find yourself. At first, it may have felt like she was the missing piece of your puzzle, the one who completed you. Without her, you thought something essential was lost. But that was merely the illusion of attachment, a lie society and our own emotions often feed us. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "That which lies behind us and that which lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." In those early days of heartbreak, You might have felt incomplete, as if a vital part of you was missing. This feeling is like clinging to a faded photograph, believing that the image holds all the beauty of what once was. But in reality, the photograph is just a reminder of a moment that has passed, not the measure of your worth. The pain you experienced wasn't a reflection of your value. It was a signal that you were attached to an illusion. Imagine a tree in late winter, bare and shivering. It appears lifeless, yet within its roots lies the promise of renewal. When spring comes, the tree doesn't reach out for winter's chill. It blossoms because it has stored strength within. Similarly, by letting go, you allowed your inner strength to emerge. Losing her wasn't a loss at all. It was the catalyst that set you on a journey of self-discovery and growth. Perhaps you wonder, what if I still miss the comfort I once had? What if I feel lonely without her? These are natural questions, but the answer lies in understanding that true fulfillment comes from within, not from another person's presence. You learned that your happiness shouldn't be tied to someone else's decisions or validation. Instead, it must be built on your own resilience and self-respect. The process of detachment, though painful at first, eventually reveals that the foundation of your worth is already within you. As you rebuilt your life, you discovered that the world doesn't revolve around one person's approval. You began to invest your time and energy into pursuits that enriched your spirit, your mind, and your heart. Like a master sculptor chipping away at a block of marble to reveal the form within, you refined yourself until you became someone who stands unshaken by the tides of regret or longing. You evolved into a person who not only survives heartbreak, but uses it to propel forward into a life filled with purpose, ambition, and new experiences. The real victory is not about making her regret her choice. It's about reaching a state where the very idea of needing her seems absurd. You've learned that the measure of a person is not determined by their relationships, but by the strength of their character. True Stoicism isn't found in clinging to what was. It's found in embracing what can be. It's about living each day with discipline, self-mastery, and a commitment to your own evolution. Now, when she or anyone from that past attempts to re-enter your life, you won't be tempted to replay old memories or question what went wrong. You've stepped into a space where the past no longer defines you. Instead, you are defined by the continuous growth and unyielding confidence that come from within. And that, ultimately, is what makes you unforgettable. Think about it like this. When you let go of the need for external validation, you become as self-sufficient as a lighthouse standing tall on a rocky shore. It doesn't matter if the waves crash or the storm rages. The lighthouse remains, its light unwavering, guiding ships safely even in the darkest nights. You have become that beacon of strength in your own life. So remember this final lesson. You never needed her. You were always enough. You were never defined by another person's presence or absence, but by the power you discovered within yourself. You chose to reclaim your life, your time, and your energy. And in doing so, you transformed not just your circumstances, but your very being. If you've embraced this truth and are ready to continue your journey of self-mastery, hit that like button, subscribe, and press the bell icon for more insights on resilience, attraction, and self-mastery.